Most people own pretty standard cars and trucks for transportation, and unless you're an engineering genius like Tony Stark, that's probably for the better. But for some, the world of cars is a chance to do things that no one has ever done before, to break boundaries that most people didn't even realize existed. From cars with rockets for engines to a literal tank, these are the 10 most insane cars built by people. Everyone has probably had dreams of driving a tank. They're the ultimate off-road vehicle, able to drive over literally whatever they want. It doesn't matter if you're driving over smooth tarmac or bumpy hills, the treads of a tank will find their way forward. But tanks are notoriously bulky and incredibly expensive, and most people will never be able to drive one. If anyone were able to somehow combine the cool nature of a tank and a standard everyday car, it would probably be one of the most epic vehicles this world has ever seen, and luckily something exactly like that has already been done. Konstantin is a video blogger and car analyst from Russia, and over the past few years, he's been working on a project that most people would consider completely insane. He's taken a luxury British car, the Bentley International Coupe, removed the wheels, and added 2 giant tank treads. There have been no modifications to the engine or insides of the car. The only changes that have been made have been done to add the 2 colossal tracks that have been placed where their wheels used to be. The blogger called the project Ultra Tank, and while it may not have turrets or the classic metal tracks a tank would have, it still cuts a pretty imposing figure as it streaks across the Russian countryside with a surprising amount of speed. The tank car is capable of driving off-road surfaces, and can even leap up steep hills. The Ultra Tank doesn't currently have any brakes, and the only real way to slow down is by allowing the vehicle to roll to a stop, which can be sped up by turning the car. However, when turning, it's been found that the tracks could sometimes pop off the rollers. And apparently Konstantin is trying to fix this in later versions of the vehicle. After an extremely long drive, there's one thing that you always want to do, and that's stand up to stretch your legs. There's no question about it, no matter how great your car is, you're still going to find yourself feeling cramped and achy if you've been driving for too long. A concept car from Toyota seeks to do away with that possibility entirely by getting rid of seats in a car to allow you to drive while you stand. This car is the Fun Vehicle 2 and was designed as part of Toyota's Fun to Drive philosophy, where they imagine a future world where technology has progressed significantly. The concept vehicle debuted at the 2014 Geneva Motor Show and is said by Toyota themselves to enhance the driving experience by connecting physically and emotionally with the driver, making it more fun to drive the more the car is used. The way this car drives is a bit similar to motorbikes. With a motorbike, you lean into the turn to get a more dramatic result. Well, with the FV2, there's no steering wheel at all. You have to lean into a turn with your body weight to get the car to do what you want. With future technology, the car would have a heads-up display on the front screen of the car, similar to like that of a racing game, tracking your route and telling you how much you need to lean into a turn to get around a corner. It's a seriously futuristic idea for a car, one that seems completely possible considering how advanced self-driving cars are already becoming. While most insane vehicles do something truly incredible with their cars, whether that be taking steps into the future or literally strapping tank tracks to the bottom of the car, others like to take things down a much quirkier route. Take, for example, this Twofaced Truck, which was literally made by strapping the front cab of 2 Chevy Silverados together to make a much smaller and more manageable vehicle. The Chevy Silverado is typically a pretty heavy-duty pickup truck, but that sort of thing might not be for everyone. Clearly, the owner of this mirror image car is one of those 2 people. They took the front of the 2 older Silverados and then decided to combine the 2 together to create a single car. While both sides of the car are technically the front, only one of them will ever actually work to drive the vehicle, so this is something that's more for show than anything else. If you're into crazy inventions, then Colin Furze is probably a name that you already know pretty well. He's made arm-mounted hydraulic jaws, a giant firework pendulum, and even a turbojet-powered scooter. But what we're focusing on this video is his crazy BMW Hot Tub. The BMW Hot Tub is honestly much more than what it sounds like. The British inventor has tricked out the BMW in a number of ways, ranging from the grass-covered exterior to a barbecue in the trunk, and of course, the actual hot tub functionality. Somehow he's managed to trick his car out to work while it's completely filled with water, though that does mean when he goes around corners or gets hit by gusts of wind, the water goes everywhere. Apparently, the car was made for Google to help with one of their advertising campaigns, though in this video, Colin never reveals what ad campaign it was actually for. Who knows knows what the future of transport will look like? In 10 or 20 years, the world could be a completely different place, filled with technological advancements that make today's car look like a horse-drawn cart in comparison. The Volkswagen Group gave us a glimpse of their ideal future in 2017, when they revealed an integrated mobility concept for the future of road traffic, including an awesome concept car that had been built from the ground up with autonomous driving in mind. The VW Cedric, a combination of the world's self-driving car, is the first design of that vision. The front of the car almost looks like an AI face, complete with a winking eye, and the sides even cover the wheels, as you've no doubt seen in many science fiction car designs. The car is all electric, 100% connected, and fully autonomous, removing the need for a steering wheel or anything like that. All you do is touch a single button and you're away. Volkswagen calls it a lounge on wheels. We've already talked about the Toyota Fun Drive range of concept cars in this video, but honestly, the cars are so cool and futuristic that we had to talk about one of the other concept cars that they designed, the Fun 7. This is a vehicle that's been described by Toyota themselves as a smartphone or smart TV on wheels. Both the interior and exterior of the car can be edited on the fly in real time to customize the visual content that is shown on them. Both the inside and outside panels can be modified to show a variety of images, patterns, and even data and apps. There's also meant to be a futuristic augmented reality component to the front window of the car. This will show not just directions if you're driving yourself, but other games and apps if the built-in AI is driving the car. This AI is basically networked into the surrounding cars and infrastructure to detect any potential hazards and avoid any crashes. The car would seat 3 people, one in the driving seat as well as a front passenger, with one single passenger seated in the center of the rear. The car would also be completely connected to your smartphone, so if you didn't want to interact with the built-in screens, you could interact with the car through your phone. Okay, I gotta admit, we may be cheating a bit here. Technically, what I'm about to talk about isn't a car, it's the world's tallest motorbike. The bike was built by a man named Fabio Reggiani from Italy and was made an official world record in 2012 when it managed to complete a 100-meter course at Monte Eco, Emilia. The motorcycle itself measured up to 16 feet and 8 inches tall. Fabio said that he and his team of 8 people built the bike purely because he was passionate about motorcycles. They were something he really loved. Apparently, when people see the bike, they go crazy and start laughing just because of how big it is. Damn! The sight of Fabio driving around on his motorbike is truly one to behold. He looks absolutely tiny. In the footage that Guinness World Records recorded, the bike has 2 stabilizer wheels, which makes sense considering how big the bike is, but apparently these were removed when it completed the 100-meter course, meaning it functions completely as a motorcycle should. Thermo paint jobs are basically exactly what they sound like. When the temperature of the car changes, the paint on the car changes from one color or design to another. Take this Honda Civic for example. When warm water is poured onto the hood of the car, the normal black paint just seems to completely melt away, revealing a different white colored paint beneath. That's not all either, because the Joker has been airbrushed onto that underlayer of the white. In other words, the true hidden Joker design will only ever become visible in certain temperatures, and depending on what temperature the water hitting the hood of the car is, the colors will switch back and forth between the 2 designs. The thermo paint concept is one that has been tried out in many different ways by many different companies over the past decade, but the first all-over color change paint job was done back in 2013. This was when Auto Candy decked out a Nissan Skyline completely in color-changing paint, which would go from red to black depending on the temperature around it. Perhaps one of the coolest though is a Lamborghini that was created by Exclusive Cars in 2015. They dubbed the design the First Avenger, and it's pretty obvious why. The Lamborghini goes from a standard plain brown color to showing off the First Avenger, Captain America himself, holding a shield. That's not all either, because this design is another full-body paint job. The rest of the car is decked out in the classic American stars and stripes. It's a full-on all-American Lamborghini. One of the things that people always seem to become obsessed with are cars that go super fast. And I mean, super fast cars are pretty cool, so I can understand why. But if super fast cars are what you're into, then you're probably gonna be pretty impressed by a car that is powered by, you guessed it, a jet engine. This car looks less like a car and more like a rocket with the wings stripped off, and in some ways that's sort of exactly what it is. The vehicle is able to drive at impossibly fast speeds, reaching peaks of up to 380 miles per hour while being pushed along by its jet-powered engine. Because of the way the car is powered, it can't actually drive around normally by itself. It has to be pulled along by a normal car to places that are long and straight so that the car doesn't end up crashing at those ridiculously fast speeds. At those speeds, even trying to turn to avoid a crash will cause a devastating crash. When the car gets going, it shoots out massive jets of flame, quickly accelerating to its 380 miles per hour max speeds, able to even beat a plane in a straight drag race. What could possibly be better than a rocket-powered car? Why not try the Ferrari Monza SP1, which is a special limited edition sports car that Ferrari have designed and produced over the past 2 years. The SP1 is the beginning of a brand new model line for Ferrari, dubbed the Icona series. They're loosely based on the 750 Monza, the 250 Testarossa, and the 166M. The car is only a single-seater, and less than 500 of the design are expected to ever be produced. And if you want to buy one, it'll put you back $1.7 million. Not only does the gray and yellow body of the car look truly awesome, its engine is the same 6.5-liter V12 that can be found in the LaFerrari and the 812 Superfast, which gives the vehicle an astonishing 809 raw horsepower. But that engine has been tuned up to generate more power than in the 812, making it one of the most powerful Ferrari V12 road cars that has ever been produced. But hey, check out the 10 most expensive police cars to see where your hard-earned tax dollars are going. If you think the Bugatti is number one, you'd be wrong. Click on screen now.